Hello, you are listening to Between Sets. This is Fuzz.
Mike.
And Mike. I just want to apologise in advance. There's a lot of stuff going on in my nostrils and throat and head. There's mucus galore. I'm going to sound like I'm an air. What's the word? Like one of those announcers on the airplane. Please put your seatbelt on. That's the guy. Yeah, you've done that before.
Yeah. Or kind of like, do you watch Friends much?
Yeah. Not. Do you know what? I've
familiar.
not watched it since he'd passed away. I think I might. I'm just waiting for it to. It's too soon, isn't it? Too soon.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of have it on the background, to be honest. But you're kind of like Phoebe with her sexy ill voice.
Oh, so I've gone from sexy smooth to sexy ill.
Got to lean into it a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Start singing.
If ever there was a time to record the Between Sets jingle, this is it.
Oh yeah. So it won't be Smelly Cat then.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that should be the next one that we do. I know the words to that one a little bit better.
Yeah. There's not that many, is there?
There'll be far less attempts for me to fuck it up. How are we doing anyway?
Yeah.
Busy?
Today, say again?
Hey, busy? How's life?
Yeah, I was just about to say, not introduce, it's a bit too soon, but just say that this is a guest episode. We have reached another guest. It's been a few weeks, guys, but we've been extremely busy. We've actually got a lineup of 6 guests now. I've not told you.
Jesus, do we?
Yeah, I've not told you 3 of them. I don't think.
I was going to say I know of 3, including today. But okay, nice. I like that. 4, maybe.
So there's one. Yes, it'll be good. It's good. So we do have definitely one on, one off when it comes to guests. It's Dave Murray. So Dave Murray, I don't know who the fuck he is. Mike, take it away. So I'm going to cough now.
Dave is an interesting guy. I mean, I find him interesting anyway. So he's had a lot of stuff go on, and he's done a lot of stuff. He's a former Royal Marine. He's owned multiple businesses, does a lot of different stuff, wears many hats. Just has a lot of stories to tell. I know there's some things that he doesn't want to talk about, which is absolutely fair enough. So we'll try and avoid some of that kind of stuff. But I just want to pick his brain. I think it's quite, there's not many people that can say that they've done that in any kind of at any point in time. So I think it's interesting to get that perspective.
It's quite funny because you
having a military person on.
You were like, well, I want to interview this guy. He's been in the Marines. I'm sorry. I feel like I've become a different person since I just coughed. Is that a different voice you can hear? I'm still Fuzz. I see trees are green. Was that?
Oh God!
Did I nail that? I felt like I nailed that. Yeah, it definitely sounded. It didn't sound white, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll move on.
You sound like Cookie Monster's been on 30 a day.
I see cookies are green.
That was pretty good.
So where are we again? So Dave Murray. Do you know what? I forget names so quickly. We've actually named this episode Dave Murray, just so I can see it in the top left corner of my screen. That's smart thinking. Yeah, don't work hard, guys. Work smart. Where were we going? I don't know. Oh yeah, you said to me, right, I want to interview this guy. He's been in the Marines. And that's all I knew. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool because I don't really know where I'd start with that, but I've got loads of questions. And then you messaged me yesterday going, oh, by the way, he doesn't want to talk about the Marines. I'm like, okay, great. We'll
No. So to clarify, he will talk about Marines and training and stuff like this, but he doesn't want to talk about stuff he's done on tour, so whilst at war, essentially, because he doesn't want to
the details
glorify that side of things. I think that's pretty respectable as well. I get that. So yeah, that's fair. So we won't be going into any kind of details with that. But yeah, otherwise I think it's kind of fair game. So I want to pick his brain on the training, sort of the mental side of things, and we'll get into it from there.
Yeah, definitely. That's got to take quite a lot of. It changes you, doesn't it? It definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it changes the way you view things as well, in terms of, okay, here's an obstacle, here's a problem. How are we dealing with it? You know, you just have to. I think it's an
Are you in
interesting.
bed?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? What is happening?
Why are you? Why are you not? I'm just chill. You know, I do this from the
I am
sofa.
on your
I do.
lap in bed. This is how
Yeah, baby.
this is,
Yeah.
for the
You
listeners, by
like
the
that?
way. I can see him, and he's in bed, guys. So if you want to watch a Mike in bed, raising his eyebrows
This
consistently,
this is the start of
subscribe.
my OnlyFans career. I just need people to understand there needs to be a niche for hairy feet, and we're in. We're
You're
in.
in, yeah. I think there is
Yeah.
a niche.
If there's like a niche fetish for people with hairy feet picking things up with their toes, then I can do that.
Where the fuck is this come into things? What's
I
going on?
don't know. I
I
mean,
feel like we need to have an episode of you, of like, let's interview
listen,
Mike and his
listen. Like,
abilities.
if we can't monetize this podcast, I need to be getting some dollar out of this somehow. So if there's an audience, speaking of money, sorry, this happened earlier today. Actually,
Yeah.
not feet things. Get out your brain. Um, Sean,
It's in your
who we
fucking
had on,
brain.
yeah, it's weird. Sean, who we had on a few weeks ago now, he sent me a voice note earlier. He was walking down the street, and one of our listeners, we apparently have listeners, shouted out to him and said, "Oh, I heard you on the podcast. Can you do a dinner party for like 4 people?" He's getting work out of this. We're not monetized yet, and he's getting work out of this from being a guest.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, seriously.
We should get commission, right? We need to start writing
Well,
contracts for our guests.
I mean, we need to get something sorted
Like, if
where
you can benefit
he
from
at
our
least.
podcast, we should
Well,
have
like
20%.
I feel like we can lean on this somewhat, but I want to do this thing where we both he cooks a meal, but we cook a meal. We're filming it and we're having discussions all while it's doing it, and he's just kind of judging us when we're doing it as a team.
I think that's
He
called
can set the meal,
MasterChef. This
yeah,
isn't
but
an
then
original idea, Mike.
we get to see how badly we fuck up, which I think could be funny. But then we also get to eat a really well put together meal that he then cooks for us.
So it's a bit
Hmm.
like what I do in the house. I empty the dishwasher really badly, so then my wife goes, "Oh, I'll do it in future."
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the same
yeah,
concept.
yeah. Same concept, except I get good meals cooked for me. That's.
Yeah,
I'm very food driven. I'm food oriented.
I think we all know that. Every
Yeah,
single listener listening to this now is fully aware. Well, what's funny is that I eat so much more than you. I just don't fucking
I
brag
don't
about
think
it.
I don't think you do. I honestly don't think you do.
Mate, look at me. You should have seen
I
me
am
this morning. I
go on.
did a class with Zawa, didn't I? Oh,
Yeah,
mate, I was struggling big time.
yeah. I was going to say. I mean, you're ill anyway,
I'm ill
and
anyway,
I
yeah.
also know Zara. Like that would have been rough.
Like a 17 stone man jumping around like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah,
Like, you were downstairs. Did you hear the ceiling? Because that
I
would have
didn't
been
as it
me.
goes, but yeah, it's normally quite loud anyway. There are some loose ceiling tiles. I don't know if that was you
That's
or.
probably my fault, to be fair.
I don't want to point anything out, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry,
So
I
you're
need
on a
to
bit of a
mute.
mission from
Sorry, I
your.
need to mute when I cough. 1 second. You can't hear that, right?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I love the mute button. The mute button's amazing. Carry on.
God, you went really husky then. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, if Frank's listening, your smooth voice before, he's going to be getting a semi from that.
What?
Yeah, he loves it. Honestly,
What, a husky
Can't,
voice?
every time I see him, it's not. I'm really enjoying the podcast, Mike. It's just I love Fuzzy's voice.
Is
All right,
he,
yeah. Cheers, mate.
like,
Thanks.
which way does he swing? I just want to know, just in case.
Your way, apparently.
Okay, no one else's way.
Yeah,
He's not
heterosexual
even bi. He's just
with
fuzz.
exceptions, apparently.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, maybe that's what I should do.
I,
Like OnlyFans, but my voice only.
I feel like your voice at the moment. This should be like reading out sat nav words and
Reading
directions
it.
and
I
stuff
can
like
do
that.
that if you want. Straight
Turn
up.
run. Perfect. Oh God.
Straight
Uh,
up. Take a
where were
U-turn.
we? What were we talking about? Do
I
you know
don't
what?
know.
I need
Between
to get a
sets,
more
sat
permanent.
nav. That's gonna be good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
100%. And then you just have me. You can have you doing that part when you're going the correct way, and you have me chirping up to have like the nagging voice, like turn around, make a U-turn.
Yeah. Oh, my pussy's back again. That's is that why you're in the bedroom, just to hide away from the cats?
Yeah, I've locked the door. Yeah. Although I need to make it a kind of a permanent fixture, so I'm using the laptop. But every time I laugh, the screen just
Yeah.
shakes
You
violently.
need a man cave,
It's
mate.
not
That's what you
ideal.
need.
I do.
Are you
Speak
in
to
your
my
bedroom
wife.
because your wife wanted to watch TV? That's it, isn't it?
She's got a friend downstairs, so
That's why.
been kicked.
That's why.
I've been kicked out.
Been kicked
It is
out.
what it is.
Why don't you just
I'm
say
not
that so
mad
we know?
about it. Well, I'm not mad about it. I'm quite comfy right now. I
Yeah.
feel like this is how I want to do a podcast, not formal sitting at a table. I just want to be chill.
Yeah, I just can't. I have to.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like I normally
Well,
wear the same jumper,
I'm quite
either
an
black
uptight
or
bastard
grey.
at the best of times, so you want a relaxed version of me, you know?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I feel like you're too
Yeah.
relaxed. You're in bed, mate. Like there's a limit.
I'm
You've drawn the
I'm
line.
literally
And you jump
aside from my
over it.
upper half, I'm literally horizontal.
Right, Mike. You need to do this introduction because I wouldn't know where to fucking start,
Okay.
mate.
Okay, fair enough. Welcome to the podcast, Dave. How are you doing, buddy?
Hi guys, yeah, I'm
That was
good.
the worst. No, Dave, stop. You're no. That was not good. I could have fucking done that.
What you should have done.
Explain who Dave is. Let's go.
I was getting to it.
Dave.
I'm just a
Carry on.
random
getting to
Dave.
it.
Everyone knows a Dave.
It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is Dave. I was just welcoming to the podcast first. I was getting into it. Do you remember before you joined, Dave? We were talking about unloading the dishwasher and how Fuzz does it so bad his wife takes over. Well, here we are.
I don't have a dishwasher, so I don't have that problem.
You are the
fair
dishwasher. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the pod. Welcome to Between Sets, Dave. So for listeners, we've done a brief intro already, but Dave is a former Royal Marine commando.
Yes, correct.
You're a commando, Dave.
Many
And
years,
he goes commando.
a few years ago now, but yeah. Back in
Yeah.
2007, I joined when I was 17, and then I come out in 2012, I think it was. Yeah, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So, I mean, other than that, obviously since then you've run like several businesses and
Yep.
worn a lot of different hats, as it were. So, yeah, we'll go into stuff like that. So, take us through it then. So, how did you end up getting into Royal Marines?
So originally, ever since I could walk and hold a stick, it was always a gun. Always wanted to be a soldier. Always wanted to be a Royal Marine. Joined the Royal Marine Cadets when I was 13. Actually, I joined when I was 12, and I was too young to join the cadets because it's something I just always wanted to do. And as life progressed, went to college for 2 years and got bored stiff. Walked down Canterbury High Street, saw the careers office, and me and a friend walked in there and joined on our lunch break.
I feel like that's the story for everyone that went into the army or the Marines.
Yeah, no.
Everyone I've met, it's like, yeah, on my lunch break, I just thought I'd sign up.
Yeah, it was very much like that. But I suffer with dyslexia quite badly. So when I actually joined, I failed the easiest test that there was to join.
Write your name down?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Because it's something I wanted to do so bad that I just, exams, tests, and everything like that, I just don't do very well in pressure of writing and reading and so on. So I had to go away and do a key skills course to prove that I actually had a brain. And then go back and they let me do the test again. I passed it. I did it in pencil. And the careers office lady, I think, helped me out a little bit. And then 3 months later, I was day one, week one, down at Limpston, regretting every decision I ever made.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, fair play. I mean, the training, it's quite well renowned. I know the weird thing is, I know we've got quite a few international listeners as well, so I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the Marines training course. So
Yeah.
I'll say a bit about what I know. It's like there's a lot of stuff like working at heights, like fear testing, and like your final test, I think it's like a 60-mile yomp, like 60-mile march, like loaded and
yeah. So I can only go off of when I went through it. Things do change over time; they evolve. My younger brother joined probably about 5-6 years ago. Didn't quite make it, but from things he told me, things had changed. Health and safety got involved. So like the assault courses and so on, have got rubber foams around the pipes and poles and ropes and everything. Now, when I was there, that didn't exist. a lot of lads getting injured and so on. That's why they probably changed things. But to take you through a brief sort of explanation of day one to the last day of training, you do 8 months of pure hell. It does get easier in spots, but the first, I would say, 15 weeks are incredibly difficult. The first 2 weeks, you're half man, half ironing board, and you go off of about 2 to 3 hours sleep a night. You're doing phys 3-4 times a day. If you hadn't thrown up in a phys session, you weren't training hard enough. It is incredibly difficult, especially as a young 16, 17, 18-year-old lad that's not had much life experience going into that situation. You do go in a boy and come out a man, without a doubt. You do various things throughout training. The exercises apparently are all still the same. So you have certain test exercises throughout training. First 15 weeks is what we call the basic infantry soldier. It's the same standard for the army. Every person that joins the military does the similar 15 weeks. Bearing in mind, obviously, yes, the powers are a little bit different. The Royal Marines are a little bit different to the regular army, but it's still the same foundations. And then you pass out of your sort of phase one of training and go into your commando training. And that's the second half of it. You do 30 weeks or 32 weeks, including the last 2 weeks, which is called King Squad, where you basically are a drill parade mascot. So you're passing out parade. But the final tests as such, the physical side of it, you do a 9-mile speed march with 21 pound of webbing, a 13 pound rifle, and that's done as a troop. You pass that. The following day, you will do a Tarzan assault course, which is a high ropes course combined with an obstacle course on the bottom field, it's called. And then you will do the endurance course, which is a 7-mile endurance course through a place called Woodbury Common, where you go through, you've probably seen it, the Smarty tubes with full of water and the sheep's dip. The famous advert where the guy gets stuck in there. It's a little bit dramatic because it's only about 2 foot wide. One person pushes you through one side, the other guy pulls you out. And then the infamous 30 miler. It's 30 miles over Dartmoor in, what was it, 8 hours? I think the officers have to do it in 7.5 hours. But it's up and down tours. So you're climbing small mountains and running down small mountains. And that's, you have certain checkpoints along that way where you rehydrate, take on some food, and you crack on and you carry on. To give you an idea of the sort of pass rate, I started with 60 men in my troop on day one. Week 2, we had 28 left. And then original lads that were started on day one in that troop that passed out on the last day, there was 21 of us.
So what is that then? How does that work? Do people just like wave the white flag, or do they actually get sent home?
It can be a mixture of things. Obviously, injuries come into play. But when you're in Lympstone and you're going through training, you have, and you say you get injured, a lot of lads like stress fractures, hypothermia, heat exhaustion, that sort of thing. Yes. They go into a place called Hunter Company, which is a rehabilitation and sort of medical side. They basically freeze frame in training. So say they're 10 weeks through, they get taken out of the troop they're in, they get put into Hunter Company, and then they get rehabilitated, and they will drop back in at week 10 again when they're rehabilitated. Some lads can spend 2 years in there with certain different injuries. But the facilities down there for the lads is really good. I had a few minor injuries, the physios and everything. The England rugby team actually used to go down and use the facilities down there when I was there because the facilities were really good. But yeah, obviously some people just can't hack it. It's not physically, it's mentally, because you can be a world-class athlete and still struggle because it's designed to push you to your absolute limit. So when you are fatigued, when you are tired, when you are wet, cold, you dig deep and you can find it within you to carry on, because in a war fighting situation, there's no, I need to have a rest. You know, you've got to keep marching forward, and still carry on fighting the fight. So I think the mental side of it is the biggest part where people fall
It's
down.
the sleep. That sounds mental. Like,
Yes, sleep deprivation. It's the one thing now as a adult, shall I say, because I was only a young boy when I joined, is one thing that I hate not having because of them experiences. I remember hallucinating in the middle of Dartmoor. You come off a 7-day exercise, you do an exercise called Hunter's Moon, where you spend 5 days on Dartmoor, and it's like a night nav exercise. So you're sort of doing your lectures during the day, and then overnight you'll be covering sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 miles, navigating in the pitch black, and you've got to reach checkpoints. But there's no time to sleep because you're training during the day and then doing the exercise of an evening and at night. And then you go from there.
Is that what's changed now because of health and safety? Surely they've implemented changes there.
So I think they can't, like, I remember one time we was put in a freezing cold lake, for example, because one guy in the troop had messed up. So one person messes up, you all mess up. And we're sitting in a freezing cold lake for 45 minutes, all huddled together. And that sort of thing. When it's the middle of November and you're in -degree temperature, it really does whittle
for
out.
45 minutes.
Yeah, it really does whittle out the week as such. But from that exercise, you go to something called survival exercise, where you get given a fish, a live chicken, or a rabbit between 4 of you, and you're there then for 3 days, sorry. You learn to love the rabbit, they make you stroke it and everything like that, and then they teach you how to kill it and gut it and so on. And that you have to survive off of that food for the duration of that exercise. But where you haven't had any sleep, I remember we was on the yomp from one exercise to the other, and I remember looking to my side and there was a Chinese lady talking to me. You look in the trees and you're seeing diggers. I actually cracked my front tooth and chipped it where I thought I saw a gate. I thought I saw everyone going through a gate, so I went to push it open, and it wasn't. It was a big boulder in front of me, and my rifle hit the rock, and I headbutted the top of my rifle. So that's the sort of level. That's the sort of level of fatigue that you do experience. But at the end, it is well worth it. You join the biggest boys' club in the world, and once a Marine, always a Marine, as they always say. But yeah, no, greatest achievement of my life.
Have you hallucinated since?
I wouldn't say so. Not that I
There's
remember.
no long-term damages.
No.
I think it's really interesting. So obviously, like the physical aspect, there's an element of that. Like if you can't hack it physically, you can do all the training under the sun, but some people are just not built for it. Essentially,
yeah.
What is it, do you think, that separates people mentally? Because at 17, you can't really know whether you're going to be cut out for that or not. I suppose in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking, is there anything sort of, obviously you've done the cadets from the age of 12, but obviously they're not pushing you to that level because you're a kid. They can't really.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the build up to the age of 17 that kind of in the back of your head kind of thought, yeah, let's go, I can do this?
So I think it was just my pure determination and want for being a Royal Marine. Having that pride of walking down the street, knowing that I was a Royal Marine Commando, I'd done what I set out to do. But you tend to find that the lads that succeed are not lads that are necessarily come from easy backgrounds. They tend to be mavericks. They're the brawlers on the night out as such. Never did well at school. They've had a rough upbringing. Lived on council estates and so on. They've seen adversity to some sort of level, and it's kind of like they seem to have that drive to not go back to that position and into that environment. They seem to do the best. But obviously when you are 16, 17 and you're going into a world when the average age in your troop, say for example, is 23, 24, 25, the older lads will look after them to a certain extent, because it is a brotherhood, it is camaraderie. Selflessness is one of the commando ethoses. So you always try to, you always have to demonstrate that you are looking out for your oppo. It's a buddy system. But the guys that always make it tend to be the guys that come from I'll try and be politically correct here, a worse background as such.
They weren't
we're not really about
children.
political correctness on it. It's fine.
Yeah. No,
You're only,
I
you're
was,
only
I'm
on
gonna
for,
say it's fine.
you're only on for one episode. I wouldn't worry too much.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you can say what
Yeah,
you want, mate.
No, yeah. Quick disclaimer: if my phone decides to drop onto the table, it's because I've held it up with a cradle out of my van that I stick to the windscreen. I've stuck it to the table so you could get a good view.
You're still doing these army moves, just improvising.
Yeah. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. That is the
That's
motto.
exactly it.
Yeah,
So what did
yeah.
you do as soon as you, was it in 2012? As
Yeah.
soon as you left, what did you do? What did you go straight into?
So this is where my life kind of took a little bit of a turn as such, because all I ever wanted to do was be a soldier. And when I couldn't do that anymore, it took me a long time to get sort of used to the idea. It's trying to find purpose again, because that was my purpose in my eyes. So straight after the Royal Marines, I had a few little jobs here, there, bartending, waitering, security. But my main career after that, I actually went into car sales. I worked for Mercedes for about 7 years and sold cars. And then I got fed up of being nice to people all day long and being polite and sort of yes, no, sir, all that sort of thing in the public domain. After that, I went into the prison service. So I spent 3.5 years in the prison service, and now I own my own business, detailing, because I'm very methodical. Yeah, I still have military traits. You go into my room, my drawers, it's all still A4 folded and everything like that. So yeah, detailing and valeting and so on was a bit more of a passion of mine. So I've moved into that side, and I'm very good at it because I've got attention to detail.
Nice.
Nice.
How did you find being a prison officer?
I have more.
That's fine. That's what I was after.
Yeah.
So this is where we have a bit of an overlap, you know?
Yeah. I would say I have more sleepless nights from being a prison officer than I did from serving in the Royal Marines. Yeah. I personally joined the prison service to help people, from lads that were from a similar background to me, maybe have gone down the wrong path. A lot of the lads in there that are between the ages of 18 and 25, I would say, not most of them, there are a percentage of them that have just messed up. They've made a mistake and they do not belong in that place, you know.
But did they allow that? They probably still saw you as an enemy almost, did they?
So the relationship between staff, especially where I worked, the relationship between staff and the prison population, you try to build a mutual respect, because as I always used to say to them, I appreciate you're annoyed, but there's only one fight you're not going to win in this place, and that's against us. Because I walk through that door, you might knock me out, you might beat me up, but I can guarantee you there's 30 more of me coming through the door. So you always had that understanding. I had it a few times where I've been in confrontations and restraints as such, and afterwards they come up to me and go, "Sorry about that, Gov. Really didn't mean to lose my head there. We're all good. Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it." You know, and then you're back to a level playing field again. But yeah, the prison environment is, once you experience it, you can't unexperience it, obviously. And it's really hard to describe what it's like to work in that high pressure. You're constantly looking over your shoulder. You're constantly looking over your sort of colleague's shoulder. You never go into a cell alone. It's when you open flaps up and you see people hanging or they've cut themselves. Self-harm is massive. They will self-harm for any reason. Especially during COVID, they were behind a door for 23 hours of the day. One, because of staff shortages, and two, to try and stop the spread of COVID. So when they've run out of tea bags and they're asking for another tea bag, but you haven't got any, or your time is taken up having to put PPE on and going in to deal with someone with COVID, or someone that's cut themselves, or someone's hanging as such, they will lose their temper because they haven't got a tea bag. And they will do anything. I've had people swallow vape pens. I've had people swallow batteries, set light to their cells, for minuscule little things. Everything in there is
it boredom? Is it?
Yeah, well, everything in there is elevated. All they have is time. So when one thing does,
there's no entertainment, is there? Like, where is the entertainment?
So in their cells, it works on like a sort of privilege basis. So if you're a well-behaved prisoner and you've earned the privilege, there's sort of a few different sort of steps. So you have basic. So if someone's been put on basic, they won't have anything in their cell. They get very limited time out. They won't socialise with general population. They will have half hour to have a shower and then half hour in the yard by themselves or with the basic regime people, and then go back behind their door. Then you have standard, which is just your run of the mill. They might just have arrived and it's their level playing field. And then you have enhanced. So the enhanced guys will get more time out of the cell. They get more opportunity to work on the wing and inside the prison in the kitchens, for example. But then privileges can be taken away straight away. So if they're caught with contraband, fighting, rude to staff, basically not towing the line, then things can be taken away. But during COVID, because they were spending so much time behind the door, everyone has an in-cell phone, everyone has a TV, and so on. But only still the enhanced sort of population will be allowed the PlayStations, the Xboxes, the hi-fi systems, and so on.
Oh wow! Didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah,
that sounds quite risky.
Yeah, no. Well, in my personal opinion, sometimes it can be a little bit too. They get too comfortable. At the end of the day, they're in prison because you're taking their liberty away from them because they've obviously broken the law and they've done something wrong. They need to pay the price. But it's nice to see sometimes when I was in the transition in people's sort of mindsets. They come in attitudey. They don't want to listen to authority. They don't believe they've done anything wrong. And then as they go through their sentence and the rehabilitation side of things, does it work? Probably not, because the reoffending rate is through the roof. But you do get the one now and again that you think, I think I made a difference there. And that's why I did it.
I mean,
because
that's rewarding.
On that, I mean, having worked with some, he was a current prisoner at the time. I was doing some kind of outreach stuff through the police as well. And it's exactly what you said. He'd end up in prison from just doing stupid stuff from the age of like 17, 18. He'd been doing minor stuff when he was a teenager, gradually increasing, mixed with the wrong crowd, all this kind of stuff. And he went in for something stupid. It was theft and it was some assaults all kind of lumped together to say, no, you've had your chances now, you're in, basically.
Yeah.
And when he was in and he was young, he made it worse for himself, getting his sentence extended just by like fighting, like assaulting prison staff. And he got to the age of, I remember him telling me at the age of about 21, 22, just kind of like, what am I doing here? Suddenly sorted himself out, started behaving. I think he did a PT course when he was in there. And I can't remember, I don't know if he's out now or not, but he was doing really well for himself. Like he was working as part of like a charity kind of thing outside when he was coming out of the prison, but he would have been released by now, I think, and hopefully he's doing well for himself.
Where I worked in a remand prison, you get every single walk of life. So you'll get the murderers, you'll get the rapists, the paedophiles, even then on the other end of it, you get your local crackhead that's the shoplifter. You used to get every sort of there was a few guys that were now, because I was on the induction wing, like sort of where they first come and they spend their first few weeks to get used to prison life. You would see him all the time. So one guy, he got recalled to jail because he stole a bag of prawns out of Iceland. And you're like, why? Why have you come back here for a bag of prawns, frozen prawns from Iceland?
Though, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, it is shellfish.
Yeah,
and he was just.
And I was thinking, you've just got out of this place, and 2 days later, you've decided to go and steal a bag of prawns from Iceland. Like, there is no help in some people. Granted, and I've seen that there is no help in some people, but on the other hand of it, there are a few diamonds in the dirt, shall I say, that you think, I might have made a difference there. You sit down and talk to them for half an hour and on a daily basis, and you start to see these little changes, and you think, I hope you do not come back because I've put some real effort into you.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, just based on the area we live in, like obviously we all know each other through the gym. I don't think yourself and Dave have met before. You will do soon.
Yeah. Sunday.
If I'm fit up to it, I'm dying at the minute, but yeah.
Dude, you'll be all right.
So a couple of shots to the head.
The area. We'll get to that. You and your bloody training. But I mean, Just the area that we're in. I know people that have gone to prison and been into prison for various things, and I can talk to them now. They know my background, but we get on fine. They've done their time. They've sorted themselves out, and they're doing well for themselves. And fair play. I've got a lot of time for stuff like that.
And I like to take, not merit, I should say, because I know there's a lot of prison officers that don't go into the job with the right frame of mind. There's a lot of people in there for the wrong reasons. And Mike, you'll appreciate this from your background as well. There's probably some people that
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, trying to be politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our local gym, I see loads of people that I've bent up, I've restrained, I've put back behind doors, and not a single one of them has ever given me a problem outside of the establishment because I had that mutual respect and they know exactly what I was all about. Where there's other officers that are scared to walk down their local high street sometimes because they might have seen someone that they treated in the wrong way.
Yeah, 100%. And it's that understanding of, okay, yeah, we've had a bit of a bust up, we've had a roll around, I've restrained you, done whatever we've had to do because of your actions here. And I've had the same thing, I've come across people that I've arrested, I've had proper fights with, that I've caused some injury to, and they've injured me. But it's like, okay, well, that's done now. I don't do that anymore. But they didn't win.
No. And as I said before, there's only one fight in the prison establishment that you're never going to win, that's against the staff. Because even if you barricade your door, they don't realise the door opens outwards. We're still coming in. Whether I've got a helmet and a shield.
I'm not being funny. You've got dogs.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around with police and prison dogs. They're like, they will rip chunks out of you. Even very bad place.
Even when the prison dogs used to come into the prison to do searches and so on, they were, even to the staff, they were like, do not approach the dog, do not try to stroke it, do not even look at it, stay well away from it because it is trained to do one thing, and that is protect us. So,
I mean, I can tell you now, like I love dogs. I love all dogs. Police dogs, prison dogs, they scare the shit out of me. I can promise you now, like I've seen my mate get dragged to the floor, running after someone, dog get let off the lead, and he's a big guy. He's about 6'4", he's a lump, right? And this dog ripped him down to the floor and tore a chunk out of his arse. And he's still got 4 perfect little puncture scars where he had to have surgery and have everything repaired. Terrifying. I will not go near them.
They call them land sharks for a reason.
100%. Terrifying.
That is exactly what they are. Is a land shark. They will take chunks.
You can't tell a dog how hard to bite either. It gets excited. It has a proper old chomp down. If it's on your arm, people worry about it taking a chunk out of you. No, it'll break your arm. That's the level of bite force we're talking about. It's terrifying. They're scary as shit. So when people say like, oh, they're in a like public order situation or whatever else, and they see the German Shepherds, like, yeah, I'm not scared of dogs, me. It's like, you try.
You will be. You will be after this.
On Sunday, I don't know how you guys you take it seriously, don't you? With your stun grenades and all that shit. I'm almost gonna bring a fucking dog with me.
I'm waiting for Mike to say something now. Yeah.
No, well, speaking of Sunday, I think it's fair that Fuzz gets a bit of an inkling as to what you're like to have on your team, mate. Do you want to tell this or should I?
I'm very hard and fast.
we're talking about airsoft still, yeah?
Yeah. Mike has nicknamed me Captain Grenade.
Yeah, he loves an explosive. That's our David.
Yeah.
He's a crack shot and all.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 5 years experience.
Yeah. So I'll paint the scenario for you. So we were in a large room with some barricades. So I'm setting the scene for you. Our team is very much slowed to a bit of a halt. We're pinned down by some enemies. And I just make the smart move. I'm going to flank. That's the tactical thing to do. So I go around the side, crawl through this little hole in the wall, pop myself up.
Oh, sorry, you said flank. Out. Sorry, I was thinking, why would you
flank.
just do that? Sorry, okay, carry on.
Yeah, it's the excitement, mate. You'll get it, don't worry. And so I clear him. I poke my hand over the barricade, have a wave across to my team, go, it's clear, friendly, tiny little gap. So we're talking maybe 2 centimeters at absolute most. I'm walking along, BB comes straight through this little gap, slaps me in the side of the head. I poke my head around, look at my team, go, what the fuck? What the And I'm not joking, I had a lump come up on the side of my head, so I don't know how
was
close
it friendly
it was.
fire?
Anyway, Well, the game ended soon. It could have only been friendly fire, and I've got the raging arsehole at this point because I've played the best tactics of my life just to get slapped in the side of the head by my team, and I go out and I'm raging at this point. I'm looking for someone to blame. Someone's going to cop it. Like, who the fuck has done that? And he comes out and he goes, "Mike, I'm so sorry." Just twatting me in the side of the head.
At least he admitted it.
Yeah. No, I thought he was going to start putting
someone's going
small
to be in
children in a bin.
problems otherwise. Yeah, I was going to pick someone up and dispose of them.
So from my side, that scenario, from my side, I was in the right-hand side of the room, around a barricade, pinning the fire down on the enemy that Mike was flanking. I didn't realise through the noise and confusion that Mike had taken the corner. So as I popped back round the barricade, I've seen him thinking it was one of the enemy. And I've taken one shot straight through a 2 centimetre gap into the side of the head. Best shot.
It was unbelievable. You're never going to make that shot ever again in your life. We're talking like that's less than the width of a bullseye on a dartboard, and he slotted a BB through that into the side of my head.
That's impressive. You can't even be upset about that.
Yeah. No, I had to own up to it though. I had to own up to it. I'm sorry, Mike.
Because of how impressive it was. Not because you're actually sorry, but just to let you know, let everyone know that was me. That was me, guys.
Yeah. The thing is, we're after it, and I said, "Yeah, mate, that really hurts." I take my hat off, take my mask off, and bear in mind, hat ends here, mask starts here. There's that much gap. We're talking a centimetre gap, and he's hit that. So I said, "Mate,
he holds a goal,
it really hurts." 100%. And the thing is, he just goes, "Oh yeah, that's come up." That is. He takes a photo of it, and I've got a wacky red lump on the side of my head as well. You little shit!
You're not advertising it to me very well, I don't think.
You're gonna love it.
You will love it.
Absolutely love it.
Are you guys going to be like the oldest ones there? Is that like the thing? Like, is everyone else like kids?
Well, no, we're not the oldest.
No. There's ex-military guys there as well. Like they'll love it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good fun.
That's advertising as well.
As an ex-military man, you're trying to scratch the itch. You're trying to,
yeah.
It's a bit of nostalgia. It's a bit of fun.
Trying to have a flank in the field. That's what you're trying to do.
Stroking Mike's rifle.
Dun, dun, dun.
So how long? Oh my god! The thing is, he's in bed as well. It just makes things worse.
Yeah. It's wrong.
So how long have you been detailing?
2.5 years now with my own business. It's always been a hobby, a passion, and a sort of thing I've done for friends and family. But 2.5 years ago, I decided to take the jump and become self-employed and do it for myself. And I love it. And I've not to be big-headed, I've become very good at it.
Yeah. How did you start that? Did you just rip the Band-Aid off and just like go all in, or did you start part-time?
Yeah, so I had an opportunity where I was financially stable for a fair while, and I took that opportunity and I just jumped into it full steam ahead.
Nice.
Created a Facebook page as everyone else, the social media, kitted out my van, signwrited the van, done some advertising, some sort of social media ads and so on. And I did it at the right time. I did it, I think it was in April when I first started, and it just took off from there. And then obviously sort of winter months, it is dire and it's dead. And now this time of year is when you start pushing the ads and everything again, because it's the start of the season.
Yeah.
All the show cars start coming back out, car shows and so on. So,
do you do anything different in the winter, or do you just like hold off?
So I have another business on the go with my brother. It's actually his business and I just basically run it for him. We have a national tool supplier, where we get all their B grade tools. So B grade tools are things that have arisen with damaged packaging, missing batteries, parts, and so on. We refurbish them, replace the missing bits, and then sell them on.
B grade.
Yeah,
it sounds a bit like Mike. That B grade.
B grade trainer.
You're missing a bit. You're missing a few parts, aren't you, Mike?
Hang on. I'm not out of this. Right, so Captain Silly Bollocks.
You're damaged goods, mate. You're damaged goods, mate.
Royal Marine Commando.
Oh, here we go. I know
what's
coming.
Right?
I know what's coming.
You did a back workout with me. How long? A couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
How did you fare?
It was tough. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It was tough. My style of training nowadays is ego lifting.
Mike, he washes cars. You're a personal trainer.
Ex-Royal Marine Commando here, and he's going away feeling sick from a back day.
2012, mate. You're so 12 years ago.
Come at me. Come at me.
You get paid. You get paid to work out. This guy washes cars.
Yeah, I just don't know. Do you know what? I don't even have time to work out. Do you know what? I had an hour spare today, and that was me.
You flanked for an hour, didn't you? Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll move
100%. It was great. I'm so pumped.
on. What was I going to say? So, how much would it cost to wash my car?
Now, this is the difficult bit for me, because when someone says how much to wash my car, not a lot of people realise there's a lot of levels to washing a car.
And are you transparent with all those prices? Are you with your website and stuff?
Yeah. I'm completely transparent. Yeah.
I hate when people are like that. Or they go, "Oh, you're gonna need that down." Oh, that's why I hate taking my car to a garage.
I'm
breath in.
Yeah, it's always that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm probably too nice for my business. To be fair, I turn up to people's houses and they've asked me to do a standard valet, and I end up doing a lot more than that because the vehicle's so bad. I don't want my work to look bad. So when you're trying to clean a extremely dirty interior, and you're only charging them for the standard valet, which you take you sort of 1 to 3 hours, and you've spent 5 hours on it because you don't want your work to look like it's substandard. So I always go that a little bit extra.
Again, expecting the same service. That's the issue.
Exactly that. Yeah. So it's all about you're in the quotation stage. It's all about education with the customer. This is what I'm going to do. This is the result that I'm going to achieve, and this is how much it's going to cost you. So everyone, I'm not over promising and under delivering.
Yeah, and I feel like for detailing, there's a lot of things that people don't necessarily understand. So where I've done a bit of automotive work, you kind of understand the different grades that you can go to. That can be anything. So where you don't necessarily do Gardex anymore. There's another product which you think is better, essentially.
Yeah. So Gardex it's a fair product. Most main dealers use it. However, they don't apply it properly because they don't have the time. I do still use that as my cheaper option because it's affordable. There are a few other products that are better and sort of offer a better protection. However, it really winds me up when you have people out there trying to sell ceramic coatings and saying they last a lifetime. They don't. No ceramic coating lasts a lifetime, from my experience. Don't get me wrong, in years to come, there may be more. I use a mid to upper range one because, again, it remains affordable. I don't go down the route of charging £1,500 for a detail. It's just not achievable for most people. So my average price
is like product wise, it probably doesn't matter too much because as long as their car's clean after you finished with it, that's all they really care about, almost, isn't it? So you could probably get away with using cheap products, but then obviously it's word of mouth after that, isn't it?
Yeah. You have the different levels to it. So I'm just trying to put it into a sort of way I can explain it. So you have one protection that will last 12 months, for example. And that protection is designed to be a rain repellent, stop UV rays from dulling the paint, and so on. So the typical one is the Royal Mail vans. Everyone you see is pink, not red anymore. That's because the sun, the UV rays have dulled it. So ceramic coating will stop that from happening. It will stop degradation of the paint and so on and so forth. And there's certain ones that will last longer or be more durable. So when you go through your local car wash and they use traffic film remover, highly concentrated, and it starts burning your paint, the ceramic coating should stop that to a certain extent because it's a safety thing. It's meant to be so every time you wash your car, it comes back like you've polished it. After
so when you're saying you're detailing cars, what you're really doing is you're kind of saving money in a way because they wouldn't really have to take the car to a car wash for quite a while. Yeah,
so there are products out there that you can use and apply to cars where you can simply jet wash the car off and it will take the dirt with it because you're creating a smooth surface. You've got to imagine paintwork on a car is very up and down under a microscope. So the ceramic coating that you're putting on that car fills in them holes and makes it completely flat. So everything runs off. Nothing sticks to the car. Don't get me wrong, it will still get dirty.
I'm hoping we haven't lost any listeners here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's quite interesting to me, but
yeah, I know the general population probably doesn't. It's probably fallen asleep by now. Yeah,
like we're literally talking about paint.
The thing is, though, if you've got a nice car and you need to know how to look after it, just some people just don't have the knowledge of how to do that. Like you can get like little stone chips and scratches, which again, as part of a detail, it's not necessarily just cleaning; it's just
touching and so
polishing
on.
those out essentially, and suddenly your car looks brand new again. It's very easily done. People just kind of leave it and put it off, and then the stuff that you're applying is then protective to keep it looking that way as well. You know,
Yeah. I would say
I mean,
70% of my customer base or people I do work for are people selling their car because they want to get optimal money for it as a part exchange or on a my private market, or like yourself, Mike, they've just bought a car.
We haven't even mentioned your business name, have we?
we're going to be having
What's
a
your
little
business
chat.
name?
High class detailing.
High Class Detailing. I am going to Google you, by the way.
You probably won't find me. I'm
it.
really bad at the Google search thing. I'm still working on that. It's a new website, and I'm still
This is
working
You got
on
where
that.
Maidstone?
That's where. Yes.
this is where tech savvy Fuzz comes in and is going to fix all that
Oh
stuff
no,
for you.
I'm not going to sell you my services now. But to be fair, if you're going to wash my car for free, I'll sell you what you want, mate. I'm just trying to find out how much my car would be for clean.
So
you got a
services.
website?
This kind of comes down
So
to
highclassdetailing.co.uk.
I mean,
You
I
can
think
talk whilst I'm doing this.
part of this is we were just kind of discussing a little bit earlier on, Dave.
That's how you
do
sell a service, by the way, Mike. You just stick a fucking Lotus at the front of the fucking homepage. Just go, this is a really nice car. If you want to use my services, you get a nice car.
No, the best picture you've got is that of that white BMW.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I think it's an M5.
No,
M3, M5.
it's a Daytona Grey M3 competition now.
That is, it's stunning. If it's the picture I think of,
Yeah,
oh yeah, it's very like light grey, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh mate, that
yeah.
car.
That was
beautiful.
That come up. That and the Lotus come up probably were to one of the two of my favourite jobs I've done. Again, customers really nice, and the result on the car at the end was surpassed what expectations were, and yeah, it really makes it a bit more worthwhile.
So we were having a bit of a discussion earlier, and it was to do with marketing essentially, and we got onto the subject of cinema, and I'll kind of recap it for listeners and how they sell their products. And there's been a few things I've been listening to in marketing recently because I find it interesting, it affects me and things like this. But cinemas, they make a huge, like an astronomical profit on their popcorn as is. Like the popcorn kernels are incredibly cheap. That the actual like
But do you know what that
plastic
is,
or
right?
paper.
Because they don't make any money from the tickets. Well, they
Yeah,
do
100%. That's why they make all the
after
money.
2 weeks, yeah.
But very, very minimal. But the paper cups that those come in are more valuable than the popcorn kernels. So what they do is they charge X amount for the small, but they know people aren't really going to go for a small popcorn. Nobody does, realistically. So really, they're looking at medium. But then what they'll do is they'll put quite a big price void between the small and the medium, and then they'll price the medium very, very close to the large, so that people are
More,
they're
yeah.
getting through product, and the large just sells, and they're making an astronomical profit on each. Now, I was listening to a fellow called Rory Sutherland. I'm not sure if you've come across him before, but he's a marketing expert, guru, whatever you want to call him. He's local as well, so he's from Kent, but he's a little bit out of our league, so I'd love to talk to him at some point just to pick his brain. He thinks very uniquely. But what you see is, and this will link into the detailing side of things, maybe a potential idea for you. But car companies such as Rolls-Royce, Maserati, Ferrari, they do not put their cars into showrooms anymore. They don't send out demo models. They don't do anything else because they know that people are either going to go into Rolls-Royce specifically and get a custom built vehicle. But what they do is they will take show cars. They'll take show cars along to boat sales, but where people go and buy yachts and things like this, and like specifically to do with like where people will buy and sell jets, like full on private jets. Because if you're willing to spend 40 million on a jet, suddenly splashing out 300 grand on a brand new Rolls Royce is it's an impulse buy, right? And this is where I think it could be a really good shout for you to actually pitch your business, because you need people that are going to pay for your highest service on a whim, essentially. So I think you're better off going along and offering these services to really high-end dealerships like local Rolls Royces. If you were to set up a stand like outside a Rolex factory, when people are going in to get like, you see what I mean? People that
Yeah,
are actively looking to spend money, suddenly your high-end
That's
service to
so
them is
odd.
actually
Nice watch.
less.
Do you need your car washing?
yeah.
But in all seriousness, if they're parking up to like have a custom Rolex made for them and they're willing to wait 2 or 3 years, suddenly them coming out to a brand new detailed car, beautiful.
Mm.
And I use this as an example because it's something I'm thinking about in terms of personal training as well. Pitching the same service or a higher end service to people who are more willing to spend proportionally more money, like in London. So speaking to Sean and the way that he does private chefing, it's a similar kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's
You,
the effort,
you,
isn't it? It's the
it
effort.
is,
Mm.
That probably
it
explains
is
why
effort, but does it pay off?
on this website under extra services there's happy ending. Is that what you mean, Mike?
Every ending is happy when you get your car detailed.
But like, do you
Same
want to be
guy.
traveling to London like every day and traveling back again just to get an extra 100, £200 a day? Like, I don't know if I would personally.
How much do you think I'd be like? No, a PT session in London is anywhere between 100 and 150 pound an hour,
Yeah, no, but
and I'm good.
but
I can charge more
I'm
than
talking
that.
about your time traveling and your time, like, in the cost of traveling. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's
Yeah,
worth it.
I mean,
I can add to this
it just
a
depends,
little
doesn't
bit.
it?
So
Yeah.
I focus mainly in Kent because that's where we're based. However, I
Mm.
do get people from the London area and Essex contact me because they want their
Mhm.
car detailed, a ceramic coating doing. However, I just explained to them we are Kent based. However, we can travel to you, but you are going to have to pay a surplus for that for that service. So I'm sure that in your
Mhm.
world, Mike, that could come into play as well, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the work's work, and the money's still going to come in. It's still giving the same service. However, you're going to be more profitable in a way because you're charging a extra surplus for travelling that distance.
Yeah. I mean, did you do anything with like car dealerships themselves? So, for example, I know down there's certain areas of Kent where there is a lot of high-end car dealerships with like we're talking like Lamborghinis, Ferrari. I'm pretty sure there's Maserati dealerships.
So
They have their own people, but maybe not to the same standard, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah, of course. There are a few dealerships and used car dealers as such that I do work for. However,
You do.
it do. I have to do it cheaper because it's volume. So it's volume over profit. Because I will go to a used car dealer who's just bought 10 cars. He doesn't want to
Mm.
spend £300, £400, £500 on a detail for a car. He wants to spend £70 for a valet to get it ready for a picture. And then when the car's sold
Oh.
and the customer that's buying the car says, I'll buy the car if you machine polish it for me and get them scratches out. And then I come back into play and then I revisit and I'll go over that car again and I'll obviously go over the scratches and so on and make it ready for delivery.
Mm.
I maybe have a contact I can send across to you actually.
Mm,
Yeah, that's his
that'd be
fucking.
nice.
That is literally Mike's catchphraase, by the way.
Yeah,
Since I've met
Yeah.
him,
I
you
know
know
a guy.
someone. I
Yeah, I
know a
know a
guy.
guy. Yeah.
So I've got
I
a
know a guy.
contact for you.
It's actually a girl who sells Lamborghinis relatively locally. My thinking would be that they could potentially upsell your service for you to go out to the person's house to
Yeah.
just detail it for them,
The other
not
one
delay
I've
the
got,
process at all. Yeah.
the other side of things that I've got into lately as well is a friend of mine, a very old friend of mine, makes horse boxes into camper vans and
Nice. Yeah, cool.
transforms like transporters, Volkswagen transporters into camper vans and all that sort of stuff. And I
Mm.
saw him at, God forbid, a funeral of all places, and we got talking, and I said, look, if they're spending 25, 30 grand on this massive camper van tour bus sort of type thing, I'm sure they want to protect it. We can do something
This
here.
sounds
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
really
yeah.
drunk conversation that's kind of gone well.
Yeah.
It's like when you're drunk and you start inventing apps in your head. I'm like, this would make a really fucking good app. Let's make it happen
No one does
tomorrow.
that. That is
Yeah.
just you.
Yeah. So that's another
You
avenue we're
love
going
an
to
app.
explore soon. And obviously a
That's good.
maintenance package therefore afterwards, because people that own that sort of thing tend to not want to spend the time
Hmm.
cleaning them, maintaining them. So our sort of thought is we'll get it protected with ceramic coating. We do the stain guard protections on all the interiors and so on and so forth. And then we're doing a maintenance package on a monthly service, or every 6 months, obviously after their holiday seasons and so on, we go out and revisit them.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. I like conversations like this where you try and get to grips with what a business is doing, and kind of like lateral thinking, like, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried this? It's just nice to have these conversations with people, because you can glean things from other businesses which will help with your own as well, and it's just invaluable, I think.
Sometimes people could be sort of stuck in their ways. You have to think outside the box. You have to look at different ways of doing things. And like, you guys are in completely different industries to me, but there'll be things that you use and you do that will work for me, and vice versa. So yeah, you're completely right. You have to.
Yeah, like if you need your website sorted, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You've looked at it and you've gone, he needs his website sorted.
I can.
But to be fair, there's a picture of a very shiny helicopter that I like.
Yeah, I've done a helicopter. That was a helicopter I detail quite regularly. Most nervous I've ever been cleaning anything in my life, because he was due to take off with it a half hour after I cleaned it, and I thought, please don't tell me I've touched any wrong buttons.
Like, how do you get a helicopter dirty anyway? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? That's impossible.
So, believe it or not, the engine puts out loads of carbon all over the bodywork. And I was talking to him when I was doing it. I said, "Why do you want it so clean? Because no one can see it. It's up like 2,000-3,000 foot in the air." And he went, "Believe it or not, it's actually more economical to fly. Like, it's more fuel efficient when it's clean."
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now there's your niche market, fixing rich people problems.
That's why I clean my balls a lot, to be fair. Streamlined. Anyway,
how's your head doing these days? Has that chunk healed out of it?
Oh, for me, yeah. I think so. I can't see it, mate. It's definitely left a scar, I think. But yeah, I shaved my. I'm not sure if David knows or if he listens to the podcast.
Yeah. I do listen to it. I do listen to the podcast.
Long story short, I shaved my head open, but yeah, that happened.
Oh, okay. No, you guys have actually incentivized me to start my own podcast soon. It's in the works.
Well, fuck you then. Fuck you. We're not advertising that, all right? That's not happening. So that's just not why you're here. We've already had successful people like, well, Sean the Chef. I always call him Sean the Chef for some reason.
Sean the Chef, yeah.
But he's got business out of our podcast. Fuck him as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here. So if you want your cars washing, guys, that's my business from the podcast.
What is your podcast going to be about anyway?
So I very much, I used to do a blog called Man Everything. So it was any man-related subjects. I would review trips to Amsterdam, new car releases, anything that sort of the male sort of genre would be interested in. So it's just going to be a general conversation between fellas.
Sounds manly.
Yeah. Alpha.
Real men.
Yeah, alpha.
Yeah, that's not a bit of me, that's not a bit of me. We were talking about dishwashers before you came on, mate. That's definitely not a bit of me, mate.
I mean, I've discussed many times my favourite type of bin bag.
Yeah, we're very different people, aren't we? We're very different people. Anyway, it's been an hour now. Jesus Christ,
oh man.
Yeah.
We've been talking about paint for an hour. That's fucking mental. Like that's an achievement in itself, surely.
Yeah. Well, I hope I've added some good content to your podcast, guys.
It was really good to meet you. Hopefully, I'll see you Sunday.
Mate.
Yeah, no, hopefully we do. It'd be good. It'd be good fun.
Yeah, you don't fucking shoot me.
Good.
Yeah,
no, I'll just shoot Mike. It's fine.
Yeah. Thing is, I'm a bigger target. That's what I'm worried about. Anyway, it's good to meet you, mate. All right.
Yeah, good to meet you guys. See you later.
Thanks again. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
And that
was Dave.
That was Dave. There's always a Dave.
Dave.
Is that your Dave?
Dave.
Do you know other Daves? There's a lot of Daves, isn't there?
I don't actually.
Do you not?
I also don't know enough Johns.
Oh.
I feel like there's not enough Johns about.
We should put a request. I need Johns that want to come on the podcast.
Yeah. That's actually my go-to if I forget someone's name. Is you right, Dave? Or you right, John?
Yeah. See, my father-in-law was called Dave, and every time I go around their house, luckily they don't listen to this podcast, it's just my mother-in-law going, Dave! 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 It's like, I'm just like, it's constant. It's just constant. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that name now. Anyway, That was really good. It was a good catch up with him. I say catch up. It's the first time I met him, but we'll catch up with him again hopefully on Sunday, and we'll have some bit of content for the next podcast.
We should hopefully we might do a little bit of a car vlog on the way down there, just content.
Yeah, it was funny this morning when you just stopped me from leaving the gym. You're like, "Was you vlogging in the car because your fucking internal light kept going on and off?" Yes,
yeah, I could just see your finger like just pushing the light on and off as you're driving along, like, swerving a little bit. Like, dude, what are you doing? The thing is, I
wasn't swerving,
exactly what
was
car
I?
you're in. It's like, well, questionable. There's certainly moments where you're just like, clearly,
it was 5 o'clock in the morning. It's fine. You can swerve what you want.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. But yeah, so we'll hopefully get a bit of footage on the drive down there. A little bit of a car chat as well. There's 2 other guys coming into the car with us as well. So we'll check to make sure they're okay with it, and then hopefully get
some content on the old Instagram.
Yeah, get some posts put off the Instagram. Get to see us in some combat gear, tooled up with some guns.
Commando.
Just to clarify, these are toys. We're going to play with toy guns.
Yeah.
In an old building.
Yeah, that's basically what we're doing. I had a little anecdote that I'll quickly share, which I think is quite funny. I'm not sure. We'll end it on a high note. We've been talking about fucking paint for God knows how long. But we went to a pub on the weekend, and we very rarely go to the pub. Okay, we very rarely go to the pub, but we decided to go to the pub. I invited you actually. You didn't come, you bastard. Anyway,
no, I was waiting on a other person,
and
I turned up very late.
My son, we don't normally do this, but my son was just getting a bit agitated, and we're like, right, let's bring out the big guns, right? As a parent, the big guns basically means the iPad or the phone, and they can watch Bluey. And for some reason, I just couldn't, like, it was playing, but I couldn't, there's no sound coming out of it. And I'm like, that's fine. He can just watch Bluey, all he wants. And he was happy just doing that. And then, like, 10 minutes in, I'm like, what is going, like, I swear we had music on. I don't know how this happened, but the phone automatically connected to the TV round the corner of the pub, and Bluey was playing on the TV with sound because we had the landlord basically come around and go, I think, are you Fuzz's iPhone? I'm like, that's me. Why? He's like, oh, sorry, you're playing Bluey around the corner. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? And the technology kind of just does not understand what just happened there, because I've never connected to that TV before. It's just automatically connected somehow. Oh, it was so funny.
You're the tech guru.
I don't know what happened. Maybe my son took over, but that was so funny.
Oh man. In a stereotypical British pub as well. I bet they love that.
Yeah, it was quite funny. Oh, who doesn't love Bluey? Like, you'll know when you become a parent, Bluey is the best thing.
Okay? I don't even know what it is.
I know, but parents that are listening, if you agree with me, DM me. I'll make a friend.
Bluey could be literally any blue thing at this point in time. I have zero indication as to what that is.
You'll find out. It's part of the parenting process. But Bluey is the best children's TV program ever.
So the latest, I know about Peppa Pig. I know that's a thing.
Oh no, she's a sassy bitch. Don't want to be watching that, mate.
Okay, good to know. Is Clifford the Big Red Dog still a thing?
It was a movie with a very bad accent. I'm not sure if you saw Jack Whitehall. Jack Whitehall was in the movie doing a New York accent, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you ought to be seeing that. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. We've kind of got sidetracked. We'll catch up again Sunday.
It's not like us. No. We don't get sidetracked. But,
no, yeah. I need to mute again. I'm not sure if people watching would have been seeing like me just like weirdly barking at a wall. I was muted. 1 sec. Anyway, yeah, that was me muting again. Coughity cough. Right. Have a good weekend. Hopefully, I'll see you Sunday. And
we will see you Sunday. You'll be fine. You'll be good.
Hopefully, I won't be dead.
You need to rest though.
Yeah. Well, I've got to work. That's the thing. Tomorrow is my Monday, basically. Anyway.
Yeah, fair.
Fair. Right, have a good week, guys. Again, please follow us on Instagram. And a little personal shout out. Follow me on PT Fuzz. New Instagram.
He's live.
I'm live, baby. I'm live. Just sharing some content on there once or twice a week. Yeah. Anyway, have a good week. Follow us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Buddy. Bye.